How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do this mission called Reach for the Stars. So it's like, now I've got this trailer and all the rocket pieces here, I've got to take this from Erskine River, so you're in like that factory building in the middle of the map. Follow this road out, all the bridges are built, go to the Cosmodrome entrance, gateway, and then once I'm on Cosmodrome, luckily I did build that log crossing thing, so that won't be much of a hassle. And then I've either going to go this way through the farm, across that awkward bridge, and then there's that annoying bit of wood up there, or along here, but then I'll have to go over the water and then probably down that rail track. I wasn't decided at that point which way I was going to go, so I kind of, yeah, demonstrated both, see how I feel when I get there. But yeah, this is the thing. It does look pretty cool with the rocket on it. And we haven't really had, I suppose, as many like special objective trailer missions. There was more, sort of, in the original 4 regions or whatever, like the base game. Although it does kind of show you something that, imagine if this was like a smaller rocket and it was just in like a sideboard semi-trailer. This would just almost be a non-mission if that's all you had to do was take a sideboard semi-trailer somewhere. Like, the devs clearly know this trailer is an awkward beast, because, yeah, one of the main points of this entire region, like, is just getting this trailer and moving it around, which is enough of a pain in the arse in its own right. Again, it's mainly those legs that obviously, like, when you detach the saddle, they hit the floor, but they don't rise up enough. They need to pretty much vanish, or at least not be, like, have a hitbox that just digs into the terrain. So going up there, I still got up there, but I did go to the snowy banks a little bit, because again this thing's not got chained, which to be honest I didn't really think. As you can see, when I started the mission this truck was already here, and when I did the first half of this mission the other day where I had to get this trailer from Northern Aegis to that building, this is the Zikz and Lo4f that I took, so that was already still there at the factory, as I kind of knew at some point. I know during the second half, so yeah, I already didn't have a full fuel tank and that, but I've still got my roof rack fuel. The Lo4f's still got 200 litres between like his roof rack and his fuel tank. And as well, just before you get to the Cosmodrome gateway, there's a fuel station there, so I was pretty damn sure like I can make it to there. Started losing a bit of traction there again because there's no chained. But yeah, I didn't really think at this point about the whole kind of chained situation. I mean, so far I've got away with it pretty easy. Kind of use the snowbank at the first hill. That top bit there, for example, though, there is no snowbank to use because there's like big rocky sort of mountain cliffside things either side of the road. You can't, yeah, you can't do it. And there's a load of rocks at the top that just don't help things either. You see, keep an eye on that, like those legs on the trailer. You'll see them just springing back, like where they catch things every 2 seconds. And I've not specifically like parked all the trucks that sit quite high together and kind of see which one actually sits the highest with the saddle low, but this thing, saddle high, sorry, this thing can't sit low though, the Zikz, because it's got 61-inch tyres, so there's a certain amount of height just for the fact that it's got tyres that are that tall. But yeah, I mean, those are the things I, like, in theory, I would have liked to have used for this mission. For example, the Cat 770G would be interesting, but A, it's got no chained, and B, I don't even think you can have a saddle high on it anyway. But as far as, like, it'd sit very high, and it is a hauling machine, like, I've used that before as sort of a little Death Snow ferry across awkward bits. It used to pull stuff across, like, the Black River with the Cat 770G. Yeah, the collobs as well, they're kind of out in the sense of they've not got any chained. I was trying to think of some others. Well, the P16, that would have been an interesting one, and again, that's got some nice height to it on the saddle. But yeah, no chained. As you can see there as well, kept crashing into everything. It was definitely like my fault, but at the same time I will say, because I had no chained, I was understeering just even on the flat icy road, so the steering was like twice as delayed as it normally is, so even though I was steering what would normally be in time, I was just, yeah, like there was 3 odd seconds of just nothing, and by then I'd hit the telegraph poles. Yeah, remember, if you go over that section, keep to the right, because that sort of muddy bit you can see that dips down a lot more than it kind of looks. And again, this Zikz is pretty good for not tipping, but certainly with this trailer and that rocket on top of it, once that starts to try and tip as well. And I do believe, which I said in the last video, when this trailer was empty, and I had to bring it from Northern Aegis, that I said I reckon the trailer's already got the weight of the rocket kind of coded into it. And I do believe that to be the case, because it doesn't feel any heavier now. It feels like it was behaving exactly like it did, yeah, when it was empty. So, well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, at least in the good news, it's not got even heavier. But again, as you can see, it's not really the weight that's the issue. Like, the Zikz is pretty good at hauling, and again, that's why it'd be quite interesting to try stuff like the Cat or the P16, Collobs, etc. But yeah, that is the difficulty, quote unquote, with this mission, is the fact that the trailer will just catch on lots of things as you're travelling pretty much all the way. And yeah, it was around now again, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely, I could definitely do with chained. I'll be alright getting up this hill and over the bridge and then down the next snowy hill, but after that there is, yeah, just pure icy roads. And at some of the edge of the icy roads there is like a little snowy, yeah, just like a little snowbank or whatever, but this trailer's such a long beast and everything that when you're going around a corner, you can't, it's not always ideal to try and sit at the edge of the road using the little slither of snowbank that you can get, because then your trailer's going to be catching on the inside barriers and all sorts. See how the revs just vanish though? You can hear it, the revs die as soon as I catch there. That's why I want it to do the opposite. I want to hear the revs double when I catch. I mean, yeah, this is what I was doing for a lot of it. Thankfully, at least all along this road and everything, there is a sort of telegraph poles just dotted all the way along, so stick a winch as far back on the trailer as you can. Attach it to something as far forward as you can. And yeah, just keep going like that really. I mean, again, it's more the brow of the hill. Once you're at the top of the hill, it's usually not as bad. Really wasn't the place I wanted to be, yeah, squirreling around on my tyres, because this bridge does tip off a bit. And even though the Zikz, well, you can see it's squirreling around, but if I'm just driving now, there is about enough grip that it's not just skidding sideways. That probably didn't help either. But yeah, the trailer, they're usually like horrifically bad. As you can see, I just use the method of don't look behind me and assume everything is going great. But that's why I was trying to just go flat out, because even if the trailer did slip off the bridge, there's that telegraph pole just after the bridge that I could almost then like it sweep sideways, bounce off the telegraph pole and hopefully flick back onto the road. It says, I mean, let's be honest, it's rarely things go that well in this game. Thankfully it didn't really punish me over any of that, but yeah, now was where it's like, oh yeah. And I wasn't sure at this point if is it worth just going like to the Erskine garage, getting some kind of vehicle that's got chains. So for now, I attempted to go over to the snowbank, but just with like how I was slipping and the weight of the trailer, as you can see, I just kind of swung back to the middle of the road. Yeah, got to this point, it's like, nope, it's not having it. And I also know that if I can get to the top of this hill, then I should be fine to be able to get to the gateway. So it's one of them where it's like, the time and effort to bring a chained vehicle from Erskine, I've got to get it across all that stupid ice that's to my left as we're looking now, but to my right, yeah, just to basically get, I don't know, 2 truck and trailer lengths. It's pretty nice when I seen that tree. I was going for that like dead looking one in the middle of the screen, but seeing it could reach that, I was like, oh yes, it's just made life a bit easier. And you can see as well, to be fair, there is like a dead tree laying on the road as well, which I grab right now. Can't really complain at that. And another dead tree as well, so they sort of do give you a little bit of a chance on that, which is pretty cool of them. Which again, I think is a good way to go with the game. Like, difficulty is great and all that, but you also want to have the sense from time to time that things are going great, and that may result in it feeling a little bit easy from time to time, but, you know, sometimes you want things to just go smooth and you feel like, yeah, good, that was a job well done, instead of wanting to pull your hair out by the time you get to the end. And again, even for the most part that I am obviously like without chained, I am wheel spinning a lot, but there is all the way up here, like the trailer keeps getting caught as well, because the same thing was happening to me throughout this mission, where like it looked like pretty flat ground, but again the trailer's so long that even a sort of very gradual sloping hill is kind of like, yeah, the trailer will find it. See, that's exactly why it's slipping the trailer sideways and that now, because it's those legs digging in again. But yeah, now it's roughly, there is probably a few little bits that count as uphill, but I'm basically like, I should be alright now. Even with, yeah, without chains. I'm just going to stop now to save the footage, because I couldn't remember if I'd like nearly gone a good 15 minutes, and then yeah, it's probably not the best place to stop, but again the trailer did get hooked, so maybe it would have just anchored me dead anyway, I don't really know. Sometimes you can get away with it a bit lucky and it'll just kind of skim over the top, but it's more the shape. If they made the hitbox of the crane legs like have a little bit of a, you know, like the shape of the front of the Tatran's nose or something, just so it skims things at least. Which, to be fair, in real life, they're kind of like metal skid plates on the bottom of the legs, so technically, if you did catch them, they probably would just skid more than just digging like an anchor. There, the right-hand side of the wheels kind of touched the snow, and that was it, absolutely yanked me, me steering over to the right. So yeah, I didn't need to use any of my roof rack juice, or loaf juice. I do like a bit of that loaf juice. I'm sure it adds some extra horsiness. Can't go wrong with a bit of extra horsiness. That's the one. It's the gateway anyway, so it's one map down, one to go. That's a picture of the rocket when it's... yeah, well you don't get it like standing up like that on this mission. For whatever reason, when I went through the gateway I was like a ghost. There is that ramped flatbed near, but it's certainly not touching me. Yeah, this is like the route I'm going to take. So going down here, in the end I decided to go this way through the farm, over that stupid bridge, up that stupid hill, over the stupid wood, because if I go over there, I've got to go over that stupid river with stupid rocks. But when I go up here, I've either got to do a full-on 90-degree turn there, which I did the other day with a step deck that was bad enough, or go through all that stupid death ice, death snow and everything. And yeah, it's just by then I'm doing like a big long route around, where I may as well just suck it up, go the shorter route, and yeah. I mean, in theory, that annoying ice bridge thing that I always seem to fall into on live streams for whatever reason, the trailer shouldn't really suffer on that part in and of itself, because it's a very long trailer, so you'll be doing pretty well if you manage to make this thing stick in the gap. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, and then the next bit is an icy hill. This is the log crossing thing I built yesterday, I believe, so, or the day before maybe. And again, that's probably pretty handy. I mean, I could get through there, a bit of winch action and all the rest of it, but I'm not going to lie. Worked out pretty nicely that I built it, and I suppose probably good, because that's probably going to be one of the last times I even ever need to use that section of road. See, already, even though it looks almost flat, it must be catching a bit, because the level of the road is almost flat. So I couldn't have been wheel spinning that bad. There's a trailer, if you observe on my left. That's how far I got with that trailer before I was like, I release you, trailer. Enjoy life, free range style, because I'm sick and tired of watching you roll and delay me. I remember I was attempting to cash that trailer in, but it wanted to live life on its roof, so sod it. And yeah, basically, I knew though with the route I was taking, like if I cut through that farm down over that ice bridge, after that there's a load of, it's like a pretty steep section of hills that is icy, and I know for a damn fact that I ain't gonna get this up there with the trailer, because I struggled to get a P16 up there the other week, and it was only the goddamn Horsepower vehicle that helped me get the P16 up there. But with the trailer catching as well, it's like, yeah. So basically, I decided to give this a chance because I very rarely use this truck, and somebody said the other week that they used this and it actually didn't do as terribly as they sort of remember or whatever. Yeah, so it's the P12. And the reason I went for it, other than I just explained, I really don't use it a lot. It's one of the vehicles that has got the biggest tyres that has the option of chains. I thought, worst case, I'll put a saddle high on it. Like, it's got a very high chassis to it as well, so if I do need to cut the Zikz loose or whatever, yeah, at least it's something that's got a high chassis and will sit the trailer and those legs on the trailer nice and high. My worry always with a P12, it's not that bad on its own. I've never really hated it on its own. It always feels a bit slow and lazy, like it's really lazy to build the revs and all the rest of it, but it was more a bit on the disappointing side when you tried to tow stuff with it. Like, considering that the P16 feels like a towing powerhouse, yeah, just every time I drove this, it's like, and I towed trailers, it felt a little bit like it was struggling, and it was just like, meh. Like, they've probably put the rev caps too severe on it, so it's like not really revving up to what it could do. I mean, that's how they've, like, one way they've kind of balanced vehicles in this game is, yeah, just rev cap it, so if every vehicle was given the full range of its revs, then, which to a degree, I understand that, like, within reason, that that's how they balance it, and that's cool, but I do think they are a bit over the top with some of the vehicles. But yeah, like I said, well, I think there might have been one or two people in the last couple of weeks that have said they gave this thing a go. And yeah, I'm using it as I am now. I still didn't want to cut the Zikz loose and loaf, so I'll just stick a winch to it. And normally I go to the left of that road bit there and just dip down that severe dip and up the other side, but again, I figured the trailer legs will probably try and dig in as I'm trying to get back out and all the rest of it, so I'll risk it through there. The Zikz and loaf's a goddamn professional. It's pretty good at not tipping, so managed to get through there without tipping. You can see the trailer's thinking about it. And Christ, imagine doing this on a ramped flatbed. Game over before you even set off. You may as well just roll the trailer there. Just accept your fate. And yeah, even though I have never been a massive fan of the slow speed of the P12, the fact that, like, the Zikz has also got the advanced special, this trailer keeps digging in and catching the terrain every 2 seconds anyway, so you're never really getting full advantage of going fast. Like, this is one of those missions where, for the most part, using something like the Dolphin wouldn't be that advantageous, because you're forced to go slow so long that the Dolphin doesn't, it won't be given enough, like, room to shine as much as it normally could, because it'll still be using a lot of fuel, but it'll be struggling to get up into high range. Again, mainly because the trailer's catching. If the trailer didn't catch, I think the Dolphin would be quite a good option, because you'd be able to, once you get it in high, you've got a lot of revs and a lot of power and a lot of oomph to just smash it along these sorts of roads. But yeah, so far, credit to it, the P12's feeling right. It's not really letting me down so far. Obviously, I've got the engine on the Zikz as well, so that's, to a degree, kind of, yeah, it's doing its own weight and all the rest of it, but still, it's, I'm not having a terrible time in this P12, which I was worried about. Still wish you could change the bumper on it though. Or at least if they made those two steps at either side, either corner of the bumper, just like sort of invisible, no hitboxes or whatever. Even through that little section though, that muddy section there is more awkward than it looks. So I've been through there a couple of times in the Zikz, dolphins, all sorts, and yeah. I mean, again, this thing ain't going to set any time records, but it's being quite fluent about it, which is nice. It's not really stopping and starting every 2 seconds, it's just slowly ticking along doing its thing. So I think all that's left now, as far as this rocket mission goes, I believe I've got to do that block alpha, beta and gamma, which I was looking at earlier. I'd just been a bit busy tonight and that, so I didn't have time to start one of those, the block alpha one, but for the most part it looks pretty simple and straightforward. It'd be a pretty decent mission, at least they're on Chernokamensk, which, yeah, overall I quite like that map. It's quite sort of nice balanced map. To be fair, Cosmodrome isn't too bad. There's a few sections that I just think are objectively bad on this map. Erskine River as well, not too bad, but again there's 1 or 2 areas I'd change, but Northern Aegis is a beast, although in its own way, now I've built all the roadblock things and all the rest of it, there is a relatively easy road that can get you kind of from one end of the map to the other, and yeah, certainly not a map I'd want to play around on too often. But there is a few fun sections on Northern Aegis. They're just surrounded by a lot of horrific sections that you've got to go through to get to the little fun sections, to be honest. So you'll see now, I'm just going down the little sort of angle change with the hill where it starts to go down a bit more, and that's why I'm going even slower now, even though I'm going downhill, because the trailer's now digging in on like the little slight brow. And yeah, this bridge section coming up, wow, I don't even know what I call it, a bridge. I suppose it's kind of the closest to what I want it to be, but I certainly, yeah, wouldn't be very high on my list of bridges. And normally I could go straight ahead now and try and jump the gap, but to be honest, because this thing's only got a single front axle, and that bumper at the front sits pretty low, and those little steps are also like bloody hooks, I pretty much know that I would have ramped into there, smashed into the other side, that ice would have flung out the way, and then yeah, my nose would have just dropped in the water. So trying to go over this just so I can at least get my wheel, my front axle. I knew the rears would be fine because again there's more than one axle, so that helps bridge the gap. And then yeah, basically just drop the hammer. Again with the Zikz, it's got 2 wheels at the front, or 2 axles, sorry, so that helps. Single axle stuff does not like jumping over that. And to be fair, again, P12 did alright there, can't complain. Made it across, got me old Zikz and Lo4f across, and the trailer. I mean, like I said, the trailer was like the least of my worries really. Curious about this bit though, I've not enjoyed these little puddle sections before. When I brought the double Dan through here, Dan was not enjoying this section. Neither particularly were the ramped flatbeds I was using. But again, even though the Zikz is kind of power in itself, the fact that the P12 is getting through here, and I believe keeping the winch kind of taut, so it's not getting pushed by the Zikz, is yeah, pretty good. I'm just quickly saving the footage there, so we're getting close. Last little bit to go. I mean, there you go, on the left. There's a trailer that did its very best to piss me off while we were there. There's a large pipe that never made it. Never will. That's where it lives now. And again, this little section here is like more restrictive than it looks. I mean, as I said, one reason I did kind of think, yeah, fair enough, I'll pick the P12 is big tyres. And big tyres are nice, like in those sort of swampy bits I just went through, there's a couple of like dead trees as well laying around, and again, if you've got small tyres particularly, you hit them and they just sort of stop you dead. Once you go over kind of like, probably, I don't know, 55-inch tyres and up, they just start to then roll over things in this game more than catch on them or have to climb up them. They're just big enough to roll over them without really worrying about it. Yeah, I mean, this section here, it's this hill going up here, that not a chance in hell. I mean, maybe because the trailer's so long, I could have done like a winch point to that telegraph pole, pulled myself a bit further up, moved to another winch point further back, but it certainly wouldn't be efficient or worth it. And I don't really think my journey's been slowed down by having a road train situation going on, because, yeah, like I said, the trailer catches so often that you're never really going to be, like, dropping the hammer on this mission anyway. But as long as you're making sort of slow, steady progress, it's pretty good. Getting a bit caught, though. But at least there is more sort of telegraph poles dotted up and down. And at the minute I tried pulling the winch. In the end, just I'll creep forward a bit. I'll have to do it the old fashioned way. Not sure if it's just me or not. I feel like the distance that the winches reach on the trucks has been shortened recently. Not by much, but I don't know, it's one of those things where you kind of get used to, like, visually, kind of how far away you are from something and how far it'll let you grab stuff. And yeah, I don't know, again, maybe it is just me, but it's just, I've noticed it multiple times in the last week or so that I kept thinking like, oh, I thought it reached a bit further than that. So that little bit there is like was a roadblock. There was like a load of trees in the road, although I used to be able to just sort of smash my way through it, which I was pretty happy with, but certainly worth clearing out the way. I wouldn't fancy trying to drag this 8-slot trailer through there. And you see now I get caught again, but instead of sort of disconnecting using the winch, I just keep kind of blipping the throttle a little bit, and for whatever reason, just that little kind of, it lunges back and then I get another chance to lunge forward. I mean, maybe the way the legs dig in, they kept like releasing the tension and springing probably forward a little bit, but yeah, either way that worked a lot better and quicker than switching vehicles and doing it that way. I did at some point, I forgot to mention it when it was happening, I can't even remember where it happened now, but I was in high-low and it couldn't quite pull me at one point, and I dropped it into medium-low and it just about crept along, which, yeah, it's rare to a degree that that ever is the case, but again it works. I always try it because I noticed it. Again, rare, but here and there it happens where medium-low's just got more torque to it seems. I mean, again, I think within the parameters of the game, I don't know if it works like torque in and of itself, or if they just give you more revs, etc., or less in each gear to change how that kind of works. I mean, yeah, this section I really don't like at the best of times. I really wasn't looking forward to trying to drag an 8-slot through it either. It's more, if you can hit the pieces of wood like at the right angles, you get caught less anyway, but thankfully just managed to get my nose up on there. But then between this bit of wood and the next bit, there's just too much of a gap where, yeah, no matter what you do, like my front end's now dropped into the ice and everything. And like I said, particularly with this bumper, that's got like those two sort of scoops either side. You can see how hard the Zikz is pushing me. So I'm caught now, basically. It's not like the truck's stuck in that sense, it's just I'm hooked on the terrain. Wasn't supposed to do that, it just, because the down on my D-pad playing it doesn't always input the the button. So I was hoping if I did a winch from like the right side of my truck to over to the left, I can lever myself that way. Which worked to a degree. I got one side of my bumper unhooked, but from the fact that I'm now doing it from like the left side to the right, yeah, I'm definitely still hooked. And this is basically why I don't really like this section. It's just, I don't know, a bit annoying, a bit repetitive. You just got to keep doing winches and trying to unhook yourself off the terrain. So that's what I was waiting for. There's my sort of left corner, yeah, that little bit that dips down on the front bumper. Once I got that off, we're alright. So, well, that's my P12 over there anyway. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this mission is like, that's why they specifically made this section a bit of a pain in the arse, knowing that you're going to have to try and drag an 8 slot over here. And right now I just kept saying to myself in my head, like, please don't get stuck. Please don't catch 8 slot. Thankfully, never mind shoot for the stars, I thank my lucky stars. I didn't really get caught with the Zikz and the trailer, amazingly. I was interested to see how the P12 would do now, because for the next probably 2 or 3 truck lengths, it's sort of, it kind of acts more like Death Snow here. And probably not like full blown Death Snow, or maybe not like full depth, but it's definitely worse than Super Snow, I would say. And so far, I mean, it's done right. I think there is the odd bit where like the winch cable becomes slack because it's like not going as fast as the Zikz or whatever. Probably yell now. Zikz is about ready to give me a little boost. But yeah, the cable's gone tight again, and the Zikz is kind of going a little bit slower at the minute. Obviously that patch the Zikz is still in is like the slowest part. We're getting close though. And like I said, to be fair, it's been a pretty kind of hiccup-free, smooth mission. I was kind of dreading it a lot more. I really just don't like using these trailers. As handy as they are, obviously having 8 slots, like when they first came out in the game, I tried using them all the time because, yeah, that's kind of what I've been asking for, was a trailer that can hold more cargo. But I suppose be careful what you wish for, because, yeah, I mean, I use the ramp flatbed. That's how much I don't like the 8 slot. That I tolerate the ramped flatbed, which I also hate. Definitely a long one though. That's of course what she said. But yeah, it's a pretty cool trailer to go turn around. If you actually, I did it at some point, like move the camera view to the back, the rocket sort of overhangs the back of the trailer quite a bit as well. So it's kind of longer than the 8 slot really. Here we are, I can smell victory. So can Lo4f. Ended up going a bit tight on that corner, but I was like, solid. As long as I can still keep moving forward, I don't care. We'll scrape the rocket down it. Bit of expensive space equipment, but we'll do it. Well, wasn't it reading recently, what was it called? The Canada arm, or I think they call it like Canadarm. Some arm on the International Space Station has been hit by a bit of space debris. Apparently still works though, so good stuff. Unlike this factory that I've just caused to blow up. Done, I have to say, the P12 I was pretty happy with there. Did pretty well, even made it with its fuel, didn't hassle me for some more loaf juice. And that was it, I didn't even have to press like drop anything else as soon as I touched the box. Don't even have to say it. Yeah, it did that little animation. I believe there was a tiny little glitch at the end, but you didn't get to see anything other than those doors opening. And that was it. Quick celebratory honk of the horn. Yeah, I mean, money-wise, not amazing. But even XP's not great, which again, I don't really need it these days, but still. Pretty low-paying mission in NASA. Russian NASA needs to get their wallet out. But yeah, there's a rocket, looks cooler now. Would have been cool to see it like that more on the trailer, but yeah, there's one last mission left where I've got to tow it from there to the launch pad. And anyway, like I said, the P12 did very well, so credit where it's due. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, thanks for Patreon members, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.